Bradfield's Bee Yard, Harnett County, North Carolina. Today is March 23rd. A couple days ago, my father-in-law told me that he came across a fella that had a couple beehives that he was no longer interested in tending and that he was giving them away. So last night, I went with my father-in-law over to this fella's house, and the first thing that I noticed when I drove up was that there was some activity. There are some homemade boxes though, and those homemade boxes do not have handles. They seem to be in okay condition. I also got this stack of empty boxes. There's a few frames in there, a top that comes with it, a couple shim boards, and a bottom board. When I started to load these bees up, it turned out that the fellow was not giving these colonies away, but he wasn't asking a really steep price. So I bought these for $20, but I have absolutely no idea what's inside each of the boxes other than that there are some bees in there. Let's dive into these and see, was this worth 20 bucks or not? I moved these bee boxes here and set them in front of a couple empty spots on the pallets. What I plan to do is to move the frames and do the inspections, move the frames, see what's what in here, see if we even have laying queens, if we have any brood, and to move all the good frames over to this empty spot. And then I'm going to cycle out these old boxes because I don't really know if there's rot inside of them or not. And I just want to cycle those out, and I want to get them into some of my boxes. So let me get my smoker and let's dive in. All right, like I said earlier, I have absolutely no idea what we're going to find in here. You guys are going to learn with me what we see. That top seems to be pretty solid. It's not rotten. Got an inner cover here. It's falling apart a little bit. Use a nailer and put that back together, probably no problem. So first sight here, there's not a lot of bees in the top, but it looks like we're dealing with just a lot of foundation. This top box is nothing but foundation. There's a few bees in the bottom. We've got all 10 frames here covered with bees. That's a promising sign. So let's see. Let me go ahead and make some room here in this box. And let's dive into this and see what they look like. All right, right away I've got a frame coming apart. Let me see if I can't get this up. Just gently pulling this up. Here we go. It's coming. Up, but this side just came off. All right, let me try the next frame. This fella may not have used any glue on any of his frames. I'm gonna be gentle with these. Try not to pull them apart, even if there's no glue. All right, this looks a little more promising. All right, here we go. Oh, lots of larvae. It's drone brood though. Hopefully we don't have a drone layer, but this looks like a drone frame. Lots of bees working. Looks like an okay frame. Let's go ahead and move this over. All right, let's pull this side one out. This will be a lot easier to get out now. I can grab the sidebars and it'll no longer come apart. But if there's not a lot going on here, I'm just going to cycle this frame out. There's some honey and some nectar in here. And that's kind of interesting because this guy that I got these from was not feeding. So that would be some natural nectar. The beginnings of a nectar flow, I suppose. But this frame, there's not going to be a lot lost. I'm going to just shake these bees off and cycle this one out. So I'll replace that one with a new frame. All right, let's move along here. Let's just see what we got. Okay, we got a little bit of brood in here. Eggs and larvae, so it looks like this one is queen right. And there's some worker brood present here. So this is looking really good. Move this one over. I'll keep an eye out for the queen. It's not necessary to find her. I see signs of her already. The important thing is that I get all the bees from this box into the next one, and then that'll guarantee that she's in there with them. That's a pretty frame of brood. Pull this over to the next one. See some drones, lots of workers. More brood. It's 3 frames of brood so far. Another brood frame. It's a worker and a bit of drone brood. All capped. More brood. Lots of larvae. This is full of brood. This is looking pretty good. Some more brood. And it does look like there are eggs in here. She's relaying this frame where they've hatched. 2 more frames here. Let's see what we got. More frames coming apart. Some more brood. Oh, this frame is broken. There's too much good stuff on here. I'm going to use this frame. Just full of brood. I'm going to pull this one out so I can slide it to me just a little bit to get this last frame in there. Feels kind of light. I'm thinking there's not going to be brood on here, maybe just resources. Well, I was wrong. There is some brood, but it's all drone brood. This is a pretty strong colony right now. I'll have a quick look for my queen in here, just to make sure she's not around on the sides. I don't see her. Box looks okay overall. Feels pretty solid. Oh, a little rot on this side. A little rot on the bottom. But that might still be usable. Alright, here's our second box. So looking at that box down there, we've got 2 frames that have slipped and fallen off of the ledge. And looking at this, there are no handles. This is a homemade box. So the fella that built this probably made the dimensions just a little bit too large. That's okay. I've got this box over here. All the frames should fit fine in it. We'll get them moved over and see what's what down in that box. Okay, this is a really old frame, a foundation that the bees never touched. It's dirty, very brittle. The bees just won't use this. I'm going to cycle this out. I'll render this wax down with the next batch of old comb, and we'll just get the beeswax out of that. So off this goes. This next frame doesn't look to be too promising either. We'll see. It's old. They did draw it out, but they're not making any use of it. There's absolutely nothing in here. I'm going to cycle this one out. Oh, we got a little hive beetle in here. No biggie. Off she goes. I'm going to shake the bees off of this, and we're going to cycle this old frame out, and I'll replace it with one of these new ones that I've got. All right, these 2 frames are stuck together. They've got some comb going between them. Very light. Same thing. Really nothing going on here. The bees aren't touching it. There's no resources. Looks kind of old. I'm just going to shake the bees off. A few bees. Same thing. I'm seeing a pattern. Looks like they weren't making any use of this bottom box. But this one looks a little newer. It doesn't seem brittle. They might make use of this one. I might keep this in there. Let's see what else we got. I'm thinking we're not going to find any resources or brood down in this box. It's just a matter of figuring out which frames I do want to keep and which ones I want to cycle out. This one, it's got the combs kind of going the wrong direction, but it looks fairly new. There's no resources in it, but it is space for them to grow into. And it doesn't look all that bad. I'm going to move this one over. I got 2 more frames stuck together here. Got stuff hanging off from the wire foundation. I'm going to cycle this one out. Just do a quick look for the queen. She's not on there. And off that goes. This frame looks to be about the same. I think I'm just going to cycle this out. There's a little bit of pollen, a little bit of nectar in here, but not a whole lot. I don't see any brood. Just going to cycle this one out. Okay, we've got some pollen. Lots of bees in here. Looks to be an okay frame. Got some burr comb on the bottom. I'll just pull this off. All right, and since this is a pollen frame, I'm going to put this off to the side. Pollen and any food sources off to the edge. We'll put frames in the middle that they can build out for brood. This seems to be a pretty frame. Again, some nectar. Starting to fill it up, just a little bit of pollen. But this is a perfect frame for the queen to grow up into and move into the top box. We'll put this up here. And last frame, let's see what we got. Feels very light. Looks to be a decent frame. A little gray, a little dirty on this side, but I think they can make use of this. I think I'm going to keep this one in here. I think they'll clean that up. I'll put this in the center for the queen to relay in. And I'm sure all these workers will clean it right up for her. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames that we pulled over from the original box. I'm going to put in some new foundation to replace those that I pulled out. I'll have a quick look at this box. I'll make sure our queen's not in here or on the bottom board. Get these bees off of here. Set that off to the side. Let's have a quick look on the bottom board, because it sure would be a shame if our queen were walking around on here. Nope, I do not see a queen on here. I'm just going to shake these off. And those bees are going to fly up now, and they'll make their way into this box. Put the top on. These bees are looking pretty good. What do you think? Was that worth 10 bucks? Let's check this colony now. We're going to do the exact same thing with this box. Going to move the frames and bees from here to this new location. And we're going to have a look and see if this is queen right or not. All right, I'll take these frames out and make room. Let's see what we got going on in here. This lid looks to be pretty solid. No rot. Still usable. Inner cover. No issues with this. No rot. Not falling apart. Have a quick look for my queen. I do not see her. Check those bees off. All right, so this is a little different than the last one we looked at. We've got bees up top here. We've got 2 deeps and a shallow. Let's see what's going on up here in the shallow box. All right, hopefully these frames come out. Let's start here with the second one. Get these broken apart. There we go. This is very light. I don't think there's anything going on in these frames on the edge. So it looks like good comb. It's not old, just nothing in there, no resources. All right, so one problem that we've got here is that if I find any brood in this box, I can't transfer these frames to this box down here. So I've kind of got a plan for that if we find any brood in here, but hopefully we don't find any brood. Oh, we got some honey stores, some capped honey. This is very heavy. Oh dear, we've got some brood in here. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with this in a little while. But for now, I'm just going to go through. I'm going to see what's what in this box. Then I'm going to set it off to the side. I'll keep an eye out for the queen, but it's not important that I see her. I do see eggs, so it looks like this colony is also queen right. Yeah, she would be close by here too. This frame looks fresh laid. So that's good news. About the same right here. We've got some capped brood, some space for her to relay, and some food stores here in the back. Same thing, we got some brood, some larvae, some milk brood. Got all stages of development for the brood. I'm spending too much time. I'm kind of keeping an eye out for my queen, but I really don't need to find her. Same thing here. Some brood with some food stores on the back part of the frame. We got a pollen and nectar frame. No brood. I don't expect that I'd find my queen on this, but you never know. If she gets startled, she might run off to the side. Looks like this guy, somebody had trouble with it. They put a screw in the top to keep the sidebar from coming off. This frame doesn't look all that bad. Looks to be usable. Get this frame unstuck that was on the end here. All right, this is a terrible frame. The bees did not like this foundation. They just chewed it off and left the wires. But I don't think I have foundation that's this size, so I'm just going to leave it. All right, so this is looking really promising. We've got quite a few frames of brood in here. Eggs, larvae, capped brood. That means there is a queen in here. But I don't like brood in these shallows, so I'm going to just set this off to the side for right now. We're going to go into the next box. Okay, so it looks like somebody left a frame out, and the bees have started putting burr comb sideways in there. So good news is I've got some replacement frames. We can put them some new foundation in, and we'll get rid of that burr comb. Again, looking at this box, this looks like a homemade deal. A little bit of rot on the bottom. I probably won't keep this box. But it looks like he did a little bit better with his dimensions here. We don't have any frames that are falling. So let's go through, let's see what's what in here, see if there's any brood. I'm willing to bet we'll find a little bit of brood. I'm going to do the same thing in this colony that I did in the other one. If I see ugly frames or old foundation or old comb, I'm going to cycle it out. Okay, we got frames kind of wanting to come apart. They're stuck at the bottom. If the frames are just a little cattywonk, they're not quite square, but looks like they were touching the side of the box, and the bees have put propolis there and have stuck the sidebars to the side of the boxes. This frame looks okay. It does not look too old. Still light in color. Looks pliable. It's not brittle. I think we'll keep this frame. We've got some nectar sources. This is a resource frame. They don't have so much on this side, but they do on this side. We'll keep this. This frame looks okay. This foundation looks okay. Still nice and golden on the top, not brittle. No brood on there though. Considerably heavier. Lots of pollen, lots of nectar. This is a pollen frame. I'm going to put this on the outside of this box. Move this over. There we go. We do have some brood. There's nothing capped, but I see lots of larvae. Edge, I also see eggs. The queen, she could be pretty close. It's not important that I find her, because I see signs of her in here. This is a nice frame though. We'll definitely keep this one. Lots of brood. Oh, capped brood. A full sheet. See if it's the same on the other side. Sure is. That's real pretty. Definitely keeping this one. Some more capped brood and emerged brood from the center. And it looks like she's already been here and started relaying in the middle. Now, wouldn't it be neat if we found the queen? All right, I'm going to quit looking. Spend too much time looking for the queen. I've got one task here, and the task is to get them over here into a new home and cycle out the old combs and get them some new combs to grow into. Sheet of capped brood on this side, some larvae and some eggs on the bottom. The same on this side with a little bit of pollen and some nectar. Definitely keeping that one. All right, here we go. We got the burr comb right on the edge. Let's see what kind of mess we got. Well, that's good. The comb broke away, stayed on the side of the box. This isn't a bad frame. Looks like some nectar, lots of nectar, some drone brood, some drone larvae. Looks like a good resource frame. But I can already see there's not going to be enough space. I need to clean off a little bit of this propolis on these sidebars. This will make the sidebars considerably thinner. This frame is broken, but it's usable. I'm going to keep it. There might come some time in the future where this falls apart altogether. But there's lots of good resources in here right now. I hate to throw this one away. I'm trying to move these over, make room for this 10th frame to go in here. Looking at this, it's sagging a little bit. I'm going to leave it. I might regret that later, but I'm going to leave it right now. See if we can get this in here. Down we go. All right. Looking pretty good. Let's have a look at this box. Now, this is one of those homemade deals. Let's get this burr comb off. Nothing on there. See, I bet there might be a little bit of nectar. Some food stores in here. I'm kind of attentive to it. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Shake the bees off. Be mindful. Queen could be over here, or she could be running from us. I do not see her though. All right, smoke these bees out of here. Give a quick look for my queen. I don't see a queen. All right, I'm going to set this off to the side. Let's have a look. What's in this bottom box? All right. Let's make some room. We didn't cycle out nearly as many frames from that box as we did over here. But I bet that's going to change when we get down to this bottom box. It doesn't look like there's a lot of activity going on down here. And we'll probably cycle some of these out. Nothing in this frame, we're cycling this one out. See if we can get this one off the end. Yeah, this one's falling apart too. There's a screw here, so it looks like it's been repaired before, but it did not hold up. Let's try another one. This one's coming up. 3 times the charm. Yeah, really nothing going on here. I'll shake these bees out. It's a really dark comb. We'll cycle that one out. Let's have a look at these on the side that were falling apart. And it's still falling apart. Doesn't want to come out. All right, here we go. Yeah, really old comb. Falling apart. We're just going to shake the bees off and cycle this one out. Pretty much the same deal here. Came apart. Old, dark, brittle. Cycling it out. A little bit of pollen. It's kind of dark. We'll see. I might keep this one. It at least didn't fall apart. Put this over here. A little bit of pollen. This one definitely is not dark. This is reusable. I'll keep this one as well. I'm going to get some of this burr off of here. Works great for the bees, but not for the beekeeper. This is really old comb, really dark. I think I'm going to cycle this one out. Nothing in here. Take the bees off. On to the next one. I don't think we're going to find any resources on these remaining 4 frames. Just going to be a matter of how old, how dark is the comb, and do we want to keep it or not. This is pretty dark. I'm going to cycle this out. It's looking about the same. No resources. Old foundation or old comb. Let's shake the bees. This one looks a little brighter in color. No resources. It's kind of ugly, kind of wavy. I don't know. I'll keep it. I think they can use this. The comb, the beeswax comb is still kind of pliable. It's not brittle, not dark. Yeah, we'll keep this one. This last one looks kind of moldy. Probably going to cycle it out. Yeah. Now this was plastic foundation. They didn't seem to care for it. They started chewing it away. They're not using it at all. I'm going to definitely cycle this out. Have a quick look down here. Oh, we got a couple cockroaches running around in here. We don't want them to come over. I do not see Miss Queen anywhere. So let me pull this box over, get it out of the way. And have a quick look on the bottom board here just to make sure Miss Queen is not on here. I do not see her. I think we're okay. These are all foragers. They have pollen on their legs. So they've just returned, it looks like, from collecting some resources. So let me go ahead and fill this box up. But before I do that, I, for the most part, shook the bees off of this. I'm pretty sure the queen is either in this box or that shallow box. But what I want is I want her to be guaranteed in this bottom box. I don't want her laying any longer in that shallow box. So we're going to put this back together, this top box, just get it ready. Now what I want to do though is I want to guarantee that my queen is in this bottom box, because I want to be able to move this top box up. I don't want her to continue laying in there. So I'm going to pull this a little bit closer. I'm going to pull every one of these frames out, and I'm going to shake all of the bees off of every frame in here into that bottom box, and that will guarantee that my queen is in this bottom box. Let's go through that real fast. I don't have to see her. I'll keep an eye out for her, but I don't have to see her. Once you've shaken the bees off, it makes it a lot easier to look for when you only have a handful of bees, 5 or 10 bees on there. All right, we're getting closer to the brood frames where she would be laying, so we'll keep an eye out for her. I gotta do this kind of quickly because there could be a robbing situation here if I leave these frames out and exposed for too long. Okay, we're into food frames now. A lot less likely we'll see the queen, but again, if she's running from us from frame to frame, it's not unheard of to find her off on a food frame. I want to make sure she's not in this box walking around on the wall. I'll shake these bees off. Set that off to the side for right now. I'll have a quick look. I have found queens that have run down, and sometimes I find them on the inner cover or the lid. I don't see her, but just to be sure, we're going to shake these bees off into here. All right, there's 2 bees left on there, and I can see that those 2 bees are not a queen. We're pretty safe. And lastly, we're going to look here in this corner, see if she happened to run down here. I do not see her. We're going to shake these bees off. No bees left on here. I can guarantee she's not on there. Going down, girls. All right, now I'm going to put my queen excluder on here. And this will guarantee that the queen stays in this bottom box. I can now take this shallow, put it back here, with near certainty that the queen is not in here. So she'll continue to lay down in there. There's some room for her down there to lay. And meanwhile, since there's brood up here in this, the worker bees will come up through that queen excluder and tend to these eggs and larvae. And in a couple weeks' time, all this brood will hatch out and emerge. And then I can move this box up and put this deep box underneath it, and it'll be a double brood chamber. And then she'll be, since the shallow will be up higher, she'll be less likely to come back up to that and relay. And instead, and fingers crossed, they'll begin to fill that with honey in a couple weeks when our nectar flow starts. I'm going to take this box. There are a few bees in here. Let me just double check, make sure she's not up here. You know, if she is, no big deal. When I come back in a couple days or a week, if I see eggs in either of these boxes, I'll know that I accidentally left her up top. However, if I see no eggs up here and I see signs of the queen down here with eggs in the bottom, I'll know that this worked. Okay, I don't see her on there. There's very few bees on these frames. Let me set this on top here. And I'll come back maybe in a week and I'll switch these around. Maybe 2 weeks. So if you're wondering though, let me see, where's my top? Let me go get my top and we'll be done with this. So if you're wondering why I didn't put this deep box on top here and then put the queen excluder on top of the deep box and then put the shallow on the very top, the reason is because I did not want to have brood, large space with nothing, and more brood up top. I want to keep the brood fairly concentrated. We're still, it is the first days of spring now, but we still dip down in very chilly temperatures at night, and I want to keep this brood co-located with each other so that it's easier for the bees to keep that temperature regulated. So, all right, what do you guys think? Was this one worth $10 as well? Let me know down in the comments.